What's up, guys? Wanted to do some, I guess you can call this live-ish coverage of the ICE shooting of an innocent woman in Minneapolis today. When it happened, I was on the air and I found the video real quick and was able to do a breaking news segment on it. But obviously since then, a lot more has unfolded. So there's a lot to talk about here. I don't know what you have up right now, Crystal, but
I have up the tweet that I was drafting.
Oh. There's the Trump reaction. I don't know, you don't have to pull it up this exact moment, but I can give everybody the gist of it. But he basically is like trolling. You know? He's basically like trolling and mocking and acting like it's not a big deal. He is pretending like the woman who was driving the car who was murdered, the victim, was some sort of a criminal or perpetrator. He was, saying like the victim was the ICE agent who committed murder. It is immensely depraved. It was incredibly depraved. And it made me think of this right-wing postmodernism thing I've been saying, that Trump is a right-wing postmodernist. I mean, it's like, I was more right than even I knew when I said that, because what they actually just create their own reality and then run with it. I saw Stephen Miller was tweeted the video. So there was like a text with the video. There was text with the video, and he says, domestic terrorist.
And like, yes, that's you.
Yeah, everybody in the replies was like, yeah, you are that. ICE is the Gestapo. ICE are the terrorists. So the fact that he said that and thought like he can get away with it, I wouldn't have went this way if it was going to be this busy, by the way.
Yeah. I have the Trump
read that for everybody.
I've just viewed the clip of the event, which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it's hard to believe he's alive.
Oh my God.
But is now recovering in the hospital.
Now,
we all watched him walk away from the scene perfectly fucking fine.
There is literally not a scratch on him. He didn't get hit at all. And what people have been doing is like slowing down the video. And we actually have a number of different angles now. And what everybody can see is that he was clearly at the side. He was clearly at the side of the vehicle. And in fact, the shot came in through the side front part of the windshield, which, it just totally destroys their case. The other thing is, this is how dishonest these people are. They're saying, ICE is saying, oh, he's in the hospital. Bro, like Crystal said, he was walking around after it like nothing happened, because nothing happened.
Yeah, and fled the scene, by the way.
Fled the scene, on video. That's right.
You see him walking away, and then he gets in one of the federal vehicles and speeds off.
So they're
still hasn't been identified. We actually don't know if it was ICE or CBP or some other, federal agency. But hasn't been identified. We don't know who he is. We don't know if he's still on the job. Like, in any sort of normal situation, you discharge your firearm, your service weapon in any capacity, especially if there's a loss of life, immediately you're benched and there's an investigation. This is not to loud police departments for their accountability, but that's just normal process. We have no idea about any of that.
I really actually can't believe that they tried to say he went to the hospital.
I know.
Because it is the level of dishonesty. No.
I think he probably did, but just to be able to claim that he had some sort of an injury. Because they need that for his court case, because this man knows there's a possibility that he could be indicted for some sort of a state murder charge. So as part of his defense, he's going to need to show, it helps him if he shows I had to go to the hospital because of my injury, so I had legitimate fear for my life. So I think he probably did actually go to the hospital.
And did you see the ICE statement?
The DHS statement, or what one?
I think it was ICE, but it could have been DHS.
I saw Trisha McLaughlin, who also made up a bunch of shit. Oh, there was a riot and blah, blah, blah.
That's what I'm saying. They put so much shit in there that's we have it on video. It's on video.
Christy Noem said something else about the ICE agents were trying to get their cars out of the snow. Again, just completely fabricated things that did not happen. And so it's just crazy to me. again, like, you know, any sort of reasonable expectation would be that the government, the agency involved would go, okay, we're conducting an investigation to see what happened, and, you know, ultimately they're probably, you know, would probably land on, oh, it was self-defense, blah, blah, blah. But to immediately, before you've even, you know, while there's videos circulating, the thing still, to invent scenarios that, like, are just brazen lies, and we can all see it. I don't know, it's crazy, Megan. And then the other piece that's come out is there was a doctor who was right there who was saying, like, you know, can I, like, I need to tend to her. And there's no sign they administered any first aid, no sign of that. And they blocked the doctor from coming over to help her and pointed their weapons at him.
Yeah, when the doctor, like, didn't listen and was like, I'm going to save that woman's life, she needs help, they pulled their gun on the doctor. And
then when the ambulance arrived, like, you know, a fairly distant time, like maybe 10, 15 minutes later, which of course when you're bleeding out is, you know, you're dead, that's it. Because the street was blocked by law enforcement vehicles, she had to be carried out to the so they blocked the ambulance as if, you know, this is fucking Israel and they're murdering Palestinians, and, you know, they're blocking the ambulance from getting from them. I mean, I don't know how you look at that, just that. Like, even if you, in your convoluted mind, invented some rationale that this was self-defense, how do you look at the fact they administer no first aid, they block a doctor from helping her, and then they block the ambulance from coming? How do you not conclude they wanted to kill her? They wanted her dead. I just don't know how you come to any other reasonable conclusion given that set of facts that we have documented at this point.
Now, according to the mom said she wasn't even, like, a protester or anything. I know that you said you had read that she was part of this group that, like, monitors ICE. Of course, that's not a crime, not even close to a crime. It's something that's actually very noble in this moment. But according to the mom, she had nothing to do with any of it. And she was, according to the video that I showed on my show, she was turning around to leave.
Yeah.
In fact, one ICE agent was like, get out of here.
Very clearly.
Yeah. And then there was 3 ICE agents, one by her door, one behind that person, and one front left. And the one that was front left just took out the gun and started shooting and murdered her. You have a bunch of stuff in the in your DMs that I sent to you. Go through some of that stuff, because there's some important stuff in there. Like, for example, I remember this one off the top of my head. There was a right-wing guy who was like, look, I'm really right-wing, but I see this, and this is not the way to do it. I actually watched that
live on MSNBC or MS Now or whatever it is now. They were just talking to, you know, whatever eyewitnesses they could in the very early moments. And he was like, look, I'm more of a right-leaning person, but it shouldn't be done. It shouldn't be done like this. That was his response. He's like, this is not right. And, you know, on that note, it's actually interesting. There's at least one DHS official that's, like, leaking against the ICE officer or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, so
no shit.
I think this is an NBC News piece. This senior Department of Homeland Security official told NBC News ICE officers are trained to never approach a vehicle from the front and instead to approach in a tactical L-90-degree angle to prevent injury or crossfire. Officers are also instructed not to shoot at a moving vehicle and only to use force if there's an immediate risk of serious injury or death, the official said.
Yeah, now, but they're lying and saying she was trying to hit us with the car.
ICE officers are also instructed that firing at a vehicle will not make it stop moving in the direction of the officer. So even if you're, like, supposedly acting in self-defense, like, what the fuck does murdering the driver? Then the car is definitely going to continue to come at you. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not even a rational action in any way. This was also interesting. I don't know if you saw this yet, Kyle. This was something that I sent us. This is the DHS's use of force rules. And, I mean, they're quite explicit. They say respect for human life. You know, DHS personnel have been entrusted with a critical mission, and they shall respect human life in the communities we serve. We should de-escalate, use of safe tactics. They're permitted to use force that is objectively reasonable in light of the totality of the circumstances. The standard does not require them to meet force with equal or lesser force. So, I mean, you know, if you read through these things, it's just, like, very clear that what this person did, what this murderer did, is not even approaching, you know, what law enforcement is trained to do. And again, we're not being Pollyanna here, but the way justify literally any actions of these people and invent a cover story before they even know what happened. I mean, that tells you everything. Like, he genuinely could have taken her out of the car, put her on the ground, and shot her execution style, and I believe Trisha McLaughlin would still be out there like this was self-defense, and, you know, God bless our brave ICE agents who are facing down these domestic terrorists.
Well, and that's the terrifying part, yes. And also, you mentioned to me earlier, like, this is the first time you've ever really felt like, I know I could actually see a civil war happening, because the disconnection, the fact that they've created this alternate reality that they live in where they just lie and pretend like it's the new reality, that no matter what the ICE agent does, it's acceptable. And then, like, the rest of us living in the real world, seeing the oppression, seeing the depravity, seeing the violence, seeing the murder, seeing the terrorism. And we're supposed to just sit there and take it as you basically, like, rub salt in the wound of the fact that you're basically the Gestapo, you're the SS, and you're fucking murdering people for no fucking reason whatsoever. Like, I agree that's the country, no pun intended here, can hit a breaking point where it's like, what are you supposed to do in that scenario? Where all the normal avenues where you would try to get justice are just totally shut down because the fucking fat pedophile president is lying about it and saying, like, our brave ICE heroes who was trying to stop a weapon coming at him, and he had to make a split-second decision and save the day. Instead of just acknowledging, like, you know, hey, at the very least, this is under investigation. We see the video. It doesn't look good, and we're going to handle this professionally. Instead of saying some shit like that, like, you are begging. More people kept showing up afterwards to protest in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking thank God people have their heads screwed on right, and they're realizing the only thing that's going to get these motherfuckers to fall in line is an overwhelming force of people power from the ground up that basically says, we're not accepting this. It reminds me of that story when Nixon was being protested. Remember this? And he said to whoever was with him in the Oval Office, I forget, he was like, he was afraid that the people would be able to break down and get into the White House and come kill him. And, like, that sense of fear that, oh shit, this is sort of getting out of hand, they're so high on their own supply, they feel like I could literally do anything and there's no fucking downside, and I'm fucking kidnapping sovereign leaders of other countries, and I'm starting wars, and I'm invading the US with the US military, and I'm allowing my ICE thugs to kill people. Like, no, you need to hit a fucking brick wall of resistance where it's like, I'm sorry, we're not going to allow this anymore. We're no longer allowing you to be these terrorist thugs. That motherfucker needs to be arrested immediately. He needs to be fucking tried and locked up for life. I'm not even going to accept just, oh, he's fired or he's demoted or this or that. He needs to be locked up. And like I said, Stephen Miller's out there calling the victim a domestic terrorist based on fucking nothing, by the way. She's a 37-year-old woman. I saw the picture of her. She's got 3 kids, right?
I saw one thing that said 3 kids, another one that said 1 kid. She's definitely a mother. And what I saw about in the report that said she has 1 child who's 6, that child's father passed away in like 2023. So now he's an orphan. You know, these thugs, mass thugs that our tax dollars pay for, has orphaned this 6-year-old child. Yeah. You know, on the Civil War point, it's not a point that I raise lightly, and in the past I have felt that all that discussion has been sort of like, you know, sort of LARPing, sort of ridiculous, like sort of Hollywood. But I don't know, I just keep thinking about the fact that, number one, we do not live in the same reality. Like, right now, 30% of the country is looking at this in the complete opposite way. Like, they have, in their brains, they have drank the propaganda. They are seeing this as she was a domestic terrorist.
They're going to say Antifa. They're going to say Antifa.
The brave ICE agents, and they're in the right and she's in the wrong. Like, that's baked in and repeated from Trump and repeated Trisha McLaughlin and Christina and all of Stephen Miller, all of them, right? Do not share just the same sense of reality, okay? And then you have, at an even sort of more fundamental level, we don't have a shared sense of what this country even is. Like, the previous conception, which is the one that I like as an aspiration for the country, not that we've ever meant it, but like fully met the expectations, but as the ideal is like this grand melting pot, you know, that comes together not based on our like race or our creed, but based on these shared ideals, and that anyone can become an American that sort of like believes in these principles of freedom and liberty and respect for one another. And, you know, this is kind of like, you know, rugged individualism, yes, but this also collective project. And Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance, and I mean, Trump doesn't really give a shit about anything but his own pocketbook, but their view of the country is no, it's a country for white Christians, and only white Christians that agree with us. It is a blood and soil project. It has nothing to do with shared values. It's not a fucking melting pot. Like, that is their view. And that is the view of, you know, a sizable chunk of the country. So when we don't even agree what the country is, and we don't agree on reality, I just don't know how that, like, how does that work? How does that sustain over the long term? It can't. It genuinely can't. Like, either we get back on the same page somehow, don't know how that happens, or
by arresting all the Trump regime thugs.
There's going to be a collapse, and there's going to be some sort of breaking apart, because that is the track that it's not inevitable, but that is the track we're on right now. And Trump is not an aberration. You know, Trump is an expression of the twisted moment that we're living in. Now, I do think he has some unique charisma qualities that are part of what hold this together. And that is my hope, is that once he's gone, it all does kind of fall apart, and there are at least some significant percentage that kind of like open their eyes and are back on planet Earth. But you know, I don't know.
I'll plug. You mentioned that Pisco was doing a live stream.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, Pisco is the name of the channel. Go check him out, because he is, first of all, he's a lawyer. Second of all, he was doing a breakdown.
He was going like frame by frame with the video, telling you everything about what the law says and how this will work and how, you know, a jury will look at all of that. Like,
and I've seen
that, he's second to none.
And I've now seen multiple angles, and I've seen slow motion, super slow motion of multiple angles. There's no jury in the world, I think, that would actually say that this guy was in danger of being shot. This guy was in danger of being run over by the car. I really don't see. There could be some conservative fucking liars.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you only don't know about that because half the country's conservative.
Well,
that's the only reason you don't know about that.
My only thing is that, I mean, I've seen police officers do all kinds of crazy fucked up shit they should go to prison for and then get off. So I'm just not totally confident, because you could never know who's going to be on the jury and how, whatever. But I will say, I think your average American has a lot more affection for their, like, local police officer, local police, than they do for these rogue thugs. I will say that. So I think that could change the, you know, the calculation. And we have seen, you know, we've seen jury nullification, grand juries refusing to indict, you know, just completely laughing the government's case out of the room. So we do see citizens taking that charge seriously when they're put on juries and grand juries. So maybe.
From the angles I've seen, the slow motion stuff, you would have to be Stephen Miller-esque in order to say, no, this, I think the guy was justified in doing it.
It's a lot of the country.
I mean, fair enough, but
I mean, it's a blue area.
Is short of what you described earlier, which is dragging her out by her hair, putting her on the ground, and shooting her execution style.
Yeah.
There's only one level below that, is my point.
Yeah.
It's one level below. Do me a favor, pull up the, what else we have in the
Okay,
in the
well, one thing I found is Status Quo had previously recorded a video of ICE running into someone with their car and then laughing about it. So, you know, they're pointing to, like, the ICE or whoever agent that murdered this woman. He looks like he got bumped a little bit by her car, and they're acting like, oh my God, and he almost died, and he's in the hospital, and blah, blah, blah. But when they hit someone with their car, they just thought it was fucking funny.
Yeah, and it also speaks to the point of, like, these are not professionals by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh my God.
They're literally hired thugs.
We're talking about the worst of the worst.
They're literally, many of them, hired criminals. They're white nationalists. They're Proud Boys.
Yeah, you got something in here, this guy with this SS tattoo. ICE dude, off duty with this SS tattoo.
So they found a guy, so it's an ICE officer, and somebody noticed he had an SS tattoo. They reported him and talked about that. And it's not just him. There's been a number of these people who have these white nationalist symbols. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, this is who they are. This is not a professional force. They don't care about rules or rights or regulations or anything like that.
It was like they couldn't do, I don't know, it was like 10 push-ups in 20 seconds. I mean, it was something pathetic. They had to lower the standards for these dudes to begin with, just the physical standards. A bunch of them show up and fail the drug test, like a bunch of them with criminal records. And, you know, a lot of them with those issues, they just get let through because no one's really paying attention. They don't. And
they got, what, $100 billion they were given? They were given some ridiculous number.
I mean, ICE is it's the largest law enforcement agency in history by budget. It's not even, it's larger than militaries of like sizable countries by budget. And think about who would be attracted to this job at this point in time. I mean, you're gonna get literally the worst of the worst, absolute psychopaths who just are, you know, hard for like bashing grannies in the head and murdering innocent young women who are, you know, just trying to like warn immigrants who are about to have their lives ripped apart. I mean, you just like the type of person that would appeal to is a sicko.
In DC, somebody said to them, "You guys are ruining this country," and the ICE agent responded, "Liberals have already ruined this country." Those are the people who are being hired.
So you've got some protests, ICE out now, Minneapolis, impromptu march chants, you know, and I saw, here's another one, ICE attacking protesters in Minneapolis, shooting them with tear gas, like straight in the face.
Yeah, so that one, by the way, guys, was bad. Now, was that after the shooting, Crystal,
or before?
After. Okay.
I think that was after the shooting.
Okay, yeah. So there's one where this ICE guy, and I don't actually know, was it ICE or was it Department of Homeland Security?
You can never take, because they don't wear badges, they don't identify themselves, so you never know.
Okay, well anyway, he's decked out in like military type gear, this guy, and he's running around, and he's got this like, I guess this pepper ball gun, but it's like almost like a pepper ball cannon type thing, like a bazooka type thing. Mm-hmm. Like it's a lot of pepper spray in the shit. Not like all the ones I've seen before are like kind of smaller pellets. This one's like big.
Those are like the pepper balls, and then this is like the canisters.
Okay, well he goes out literally point blank, shoots a guy like right in the face with it.
Jesus.
Yeah, like these people, they're looking for trouble. They want trouble. They're the ones, and you've had police departments say this all across the country, like, hey, how come every time we see one of these things, you guys are the problem? Like, you guys are the unprofessional ones. You guys are the ones that are starting shit. It's like peaceful protesters, and they start getting roughed up. Like, who are you kidding? Like, we see what you are. We see who you are. We see what you're doing. This is not, like, you're not fooling anybody. Well, I guess technically you're fooling the 40% that Crystal referenced before, but it's not really. They're, like, willfully going along with your lie is what's happening.
The shooting victim, identified Renee Nicole Good, age 37, lived with her mom said she lived with her partner in the Twin Cities. As I mentioned before, she's a mother. So, just unbelievably tragic. And given the number of times we've seen ICE point their weapons at people, given the amount of violence they've unleashed, given the number of people they've already shot, like, it was a matter of time, I feel like. I mean, you had in Chicago, this woman that they shot like 5 times, and again, completely lied about her. She survived, and had, you know, cut, like, for the number of bullets that were in her body, like, relatively minor wounds, thank God, but, yeah, they completely lied. Same thing, claim, oh, she's a domestic terrorist, she was gonna ram us with her car, etc., etc. Then the body camera footage dropped, and oh, lo and behold, they drop all the charges against her because everything they said was fucking fake. Everything they said. And the moment that the story started to come out and she started to talk, there started to be even a little bit of evidence of the case. You could see the distance between what the government had said and what the reality was. And so charges were dropped against her, but it's like, well, charges should be filed against those agents who did that. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, because she, based on the body camera footage, did nothing wrong. So, in any case, that's, you know, this is not the first incident similar to this that has occurred in ICE's terror campaigns against American cities.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
You have, barbarism critic responding to the Trump statement saying we're witnessing the full Israelification of the United States. And it really does remind of that from the just like totally invented, like, well, first of all, the fascism. Yeah. Second of all, the just brazen lies. that just bear no relationship to reality.
Oh,
even when we
Hamas
have
is under the hospital.
Right.
That's what it reminds me. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Hamas is under the hospital.
Hamas
That's why we
was in
attacked the hospital.
Hamas was in the car. That's what it was. And then the blocking of the ambulance. Like, that is some shit the Israelis actually do when their terrorists, you know, shoot or assault Palestinians, and then they'll block medics from coming to treat them. So that's kind of a spot on comment. You've got, this is the SS tattoo on his neck. We've got, you know, the guy, the murderer, we've got him on camera.
Oh, they're going to figure out who he is because he's...
Absolutely.
He has got sunglasses on, and does he have something on, like, the bottom of his face, or...?
No, this is him. This is, he doesn't have sunglasses in this one, at least. But most of his face...
We're going to do this the budget way.
Mm-hmm, most of his face is visible, so... And after he murders this woman, he just casually walks away, jumps in a vehicle, and, again, seems fucking fine, jumps in a vehicle and speeds off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see. Got, just the videos of the shooting.
Yeah, how many, what is it, like 3 angles have come out, I think, or something like that?
I've seen 3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Mm-hmm. Mayor Jacob Frey, Minneapolis mayor.
Yes.
Who's just reelected, said to ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
He kept it real.
We don't want you here. He also said that you're going to hear this. Yeah, so they're already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. This is a direct quote from him again. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. And he said it, by the way, with like local Minneapolis law enforcement officials standing right there behind him, which I think is kind of significant also, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that the sentiment of these police departments around the country, they're annoyed. They feel like these people are causing more problems than they're solving.
The thing that I am worried about is apparently the investigation that's going on now is joint with local law enforcement and FBI.
Yeah, no. Fucking Kash Patel there to cover their ass.
Yeah.
Not a chance. The same motherfuckers that were like, are still violating the law and hiding the Epstein files. You know, like those people are the ones we're supposed to fucking trust with this? Not a chance. And did you see, so Tim Walz came out and he say that I'm going to send in the National Guard, the Minnesota National Guard.
Oh, really? I did not.
The issue with that, as Adam Johnson tweeted, he was like, wait, so you're sending them in to do what? Like, you're not sending them in to fucking, like, not allow ICE to do their mission, are you? I mean, if you are, based, but I don't think that's what he means.
No, I think he probably means to, like, keep calm on the streets.
But in other words, to, like, yes, in other words, to, like, go after the protesters.
Because remember, like, a big thing during Black Lives Matter was there was a whole thing about did he send in the National Guard soon enough, so he's probably, like, sensitive to the idea that if there are protests, like, oh my god, we've got to get the National Guard in right away.
But if you're going to send in the National Guard, you should say, we're sending in the National Guard to prevent ICE from doing these illegal actions. That's what you should say. I hate how the protesters bear the brunt of everything. Like, the protesters did nothing wrong. The protesters are the ones who are getting fucking murdered here. And I was like, oh, we gotta do crowd control. How about fucking ICE control? Do some fucking ICE control. These motherfuckers are out here murdering innocent people. The fuck do the protesters do? Nothing.
This eyewitness said that watching that woman die will change my life forever. They carried her body out just like by her limbs. They didn't even have a stretcher. She was carried out like a sack of potatoes.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then you've got these fucking asshats like Kyle Rittenhouse. After thinking about it, should I travel across the state line to Minnesota? You think that's fucking funny?
They do. They think it's funny because in their mind, they're going to say, this bitch was Antifa. They'll rationalize it. Oh, she was Antifa. And then if, you know, they might even just be like, she was just liberal and she had it coming. So, like, you know, as I've said, okay, if you guys, if this is the world you guys want to live in, we play by the same rules you play by, you know? We play by the same rules you play by. I've had people, I noticed some people comment to me and saying, like, you know, when you first said the national divorce thing, I was like, that's a little ridiculous, but now I feel like that's the only way out. And I'm like, bro, I get it. Look at these people. I mean, when you get this video and the president's reaction is to, like, troll and joke about it and be like, you know, flip the narrative completely and pretend like she was some fucking criminal and the ICE agent is some angel. Stephen Miller doing the same shit. It's like, I'm at a loss for words.
Another eyewitness says that ICE gave the woman contradictory instructions, then aggressively surrounded her vehicle. One told her to leave, then as she complied, another tried to open her car door and told her to get out of it while the killer got in front of her.
I think that's right.
That happens a lot. Where you've got, I mean, especially with these fucking untrained idiots coming in, don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're all like, you know, terrified, pissing their pants because you've got like, you know, a 37-year-old woman there.
Yeah, and they're fat, racist idiots.
And they'll just start screaming stuff at you. And so it's like, yeah, this one tells you get out of the. This one's telling you to go. This one's telling you like.
I did hear one of them say get out of the fucking car. I think one said that. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right that there were other. It was like go, get out of the car, stay, murder. That's basically what happened.
Her glove box was stuffed full of stuffed animals. So.
Oh my god, bro.
Terrorist kind of stuff there.
Oh my god. No doubt they were trying to look for some fucking weapons so they could be like, oh, she was armed and dangerous. You know?
Yeah.
No doubt. And then they see fucking stuffed animals when they do that. Oh my god, dog. That's so crazy. So I wonder if we're going to get the name of the person while we're live here.
Yeah, haven't seen any indications of that yet.
And so they're probably just hiding it. They're just hiding it, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I do feel like the internet is going to figure it out here.
100%.
Right?
100%. I think so, yeah.
This is totally unconfirmed, okay? Just scrolling Twitter and seeing what pops up here. A source just told me ICE is rushing the ICE agent who committed the murder out of state.
Assuming, I guess, that they think Minnesota is going to file charges?
I guess so.
The state of Minnesota is going to file charges?
Yeah. I mean, also probably feeling like this motherfucker is not going to be safe in the state of Minnesota right now.
And this is what we've been saying, too, is that, like, I don't know why the states and the cities and the localities play ball, because the feds are they're not just immune from all laws. So if they start violating the law, you can hold them accountable. And, like, you know, I've been wondering for a while, like, we've seen on camera these ICE agents commit crimes, and, like, they're never fucking arrested.
I know.
But you can and should start arresting them when they commit crimes like this. If anybody else, forget the fact that it's even on video, put that aside. If anybody else killed somebody, they'd be arrested, and then the process would begin there. It wouldn't be like, you know, you're free to go until we decide in 2 weeks or not whether to file charges. You know what I'm saying?
Here's something else that's interesting. Adam Cochran tweeted this. He said, innocent officers do not flee the scene. Allen versus United States, 1896, establishes that fleeing the scene may be weighed by juries as related to guilt. U.S. versus Serrano, 7th Circuit, establishes a single officer leaving the scene shows he was not leaving for matters related to safety or an active scene. Illinois versus Wardlow in 2000 establishes that fleeing the scene is relevant evidence suggesting wrongdoing and may be brought forth as such by the prosecution. So the fact that he immediately
ran away,
fled.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is not normal behavior from law enforcement. Like, you would be there, you would, you know, administer first aid, you would call the medics, you would, like, if there's a doctor there, you get the doctor to help. Like, that's what you would normally do. Instead, he fled the scene. So, yeah, I mean, that looks guilty as fuck.
Because it is. Because he knows. Yeah, because he knows he is. So maybe in his attempt to try to save his ass here, he may have fucked himself over a little bit. Yeah. Can you imagine? First of all, it's so crazy that we even have to wonder whether or not he's going to be arrested and there are going to be charges. That is crazy. Like, that's evidence of a failed country right there.
Completely.
But the other part of it is, then you start thinking back and it's like, you know, when they beat Rodney King's ass on fucking camera and they got off doing that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You wonder, like, maybe there will be charges, but then he'll be found innocent or not guilty. And then, like, you know, you're begging for, like, civil unrest completely because people realize the government doesn't represent us. The government doesn't represent us. It's just incredible.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, like, you expect it from Trump, but for the president of the United States, like, just imagine it's Barack Obama.
Oh
just
my
imagine,
God, bro.
You know,
oh
just jumping right in, you know, making these wild, invented claims.
This
Insane.
is, I mean, this actually goes hand in hand with NSPM 7 too, if you think about it. That they changed the whole of government approach to like go after liberals and leftists.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like they're open about that fact that if you're quote anti-American and if you're anti-Christian, we're coming after you. Like you are considered a terrorist or terrorist adjacent if you are these things. And then here we have a scenario where these ICE thugs think like, oh, this is some sort of a protester. Protester means lefty, means liberal, means potentially Antifa in their mind, means terrorist adjacent, means you now don't have equal rights status. You have unhuman status. You're not human to them. And so they treat you like fucking garbage.
Yeah.
And they murder you. And they murder you. And then they gaslight you after it. And act like it's all, you know, like, what's the problem? The ICE officer was a victim. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, in Stephen Miller's world, the only thing that matters is power and violence.
Literally.
And
He like literally said that on
ability-
CNN the other day.
And your ability to inflict it. And that doesn't just apply to Venezuela. That applies here. That applies to, you know, anyone they consider to be an enemy or, you know, an outsider. And so if you're an immigrant, if you're trans, if you just are a 37-year-old white lady who disagrees with their policies, then you are an other and you are subject to the full force and violence that they want to mete out. And they will always justify it because they think it is always justified.
And they're going to charge you with assault with a deadly stuffed animal. That's
Yeah.
the best they can muck up in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, another report on ICE orphaned a toddler. Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. She was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, affectionate. She was an amazing human being. Good had previously been married to Timmy Ray Macklin Jr., died in 2023 at the age of 36. Macklin's father, Timmy Ray Macklin Sr., was shocked to hear the news that Good had been shot and killed. He said Good and his son had a child who was now 4 or 5 years old. There's nobody else in his life, Macklin Sr. said. I'll drive, I'll fly to come and get my grandchild.
Do you think it changes people's perception of it that this was a woman? Do you think it changes people's perception?
No, I think
You don't think it'll make people feel even more biased against the action of ICE because it's a woman?
Maybe.
Because like when you look
maybe.
at like crime statistics, I mean it's like literally what, over 90% men that do violence?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just sounds even more preposterous to argue that some woman, 37-year-old woman.
I mean, it for their core true believers, right? They've bought into the whole like violent Antifa, terrorist, Trantifa, or whatever. They've bought into that. They think there is a violent, leftist, large network, and that she was probably some, you know, violent criminal terrorist building bombs in her basement or whatever. For them, I don't think it matters. They're more likely to fixate the fact that she was like in a same-sex partnership and had pink hair, you know. But for your normie person, yeah, I mean, given the level of racism in this country, it would definitely be perceived differently by many people if it was a black or brown man, for sure. And if it was, you know, if it was an undocumented immigrant, fucking forget about it, you know.
Totally. Yeah, that's so true. They'd be like, well, shouldn't have been here. Shouldn't have been in this country.
Totally.
Don't want to get shot. Don't come here illegally.
Yep. John Fetterman was some lame-ass statement.
Which statement? I saw, what he did one on Greenland that I was like,
He was like,
are you actually just like brain damaged? Like, what are you even saying?
Yeah, well, yes.
Is that the one you're looking at, or is it on some?
This
Oh,
is
it's on
about
this
ICE.
one. Oh,
yeah,
God. Oh,
Manu
God.
Raju asked him. The mayor said I should get the F out. Fetterman said, "Let's everybody turn the temperature down."
Oh, how about tell the motherfucker who murdered an innocent person to turn the temperature down? You fat bitch. Fuck this guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just retire. Just retire. Fucking world's worst dad too. Didn't he have like a mental breakdown on his kid's birthday? right? Didn't he like?
I think that's
yeah,
right.
it was like his kid's birthday, and he makes it all about himself and fucking has a mental breakdown.
I mean, I think the other thing to keep in mind is like, why is ICE even in Minneapolis right now? It's all because of this slopaganda video from Nick Shirley, racist targeting of Somalis.
Yup, facts.
Again, to speak to the complete alternate reality. That gets elevated, all amplified by J.D. Vance all the way up to the President of the United States. And so based on this completely fake bullshit video, they surged 2,000 ICE and other federal agents into the city of Minneapolis. Just this morning, I think it was, that DHS tweeted out, "Good morning, Minneapolis." And then here we are. So like, the very reason that they're in the city to begin with is based on, you know, your postmodernism, like a totally fabricated propaganda slop video by this absolute idiot, grifter idiot, who came out of nowhere, by the way. That guy needs to be investigated. But anyway, and then that sets off the chain of events that gets us to this murder.
Yeah, the right-wing postmodernism is only going to get worse too, because now with AI being as advanced as it is, you already saw this the other day when they had these goofy ass fake videos of like crying protesters who were overwhelmed with joy that Maduro got overturned. And come to find out, a lot of the videos were totally fake and AI created, ones of like grandmas crying and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
That was totally fucking fake. Then there were other videos that were from 2 fucking years ago. There was another video that was from Buenos Aires. There's another video that was people in Miami celebrating. So they just lie. They just lied. And they were tweeting it like, "I'm tearing up watching this. Venezuelans so happy in Caracas because Maduro was overthrown." And like, I'm talking about millions of views on these tweets, you know, hundreds of thousands of likes on these tweets. Complete AI slop. But it fed their dumbass narrative, so I'm sure a lot of people fucking swallowed it whole. And that's exactly, you know, it reminds me, Trump. Remember when Trump in like 2016, before he became president, he shared these like fake crime statistics where it was from like a literal government agency in the US that doesn't exist.
Oh my God.
And he tweeted that out. And that was like one of the first instances of like actual post-truth world, just right-wing postmodernist world, where he can make up some shit, create a narrative, and just run with it. And then now we're at the point where they're so high on their own supply that when it's pointed out, there was a time in the past where when it's pointed out, if it's pointed out by everybody that, hey, that's actually not right, there was enough humility back in the day where it'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe we got the specifics wrong on that one, whatever, right? But now we're at the point where even if everybody says that's not true, and here's the evidence that you're wrong, and here's why it's wrong, and here's the correct shit, there's no guarantee these people go, oh, okay. There's no guarantee. They could still just be like, no, I'm just going to insist this is true. I'm just going to insist this is real.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that's what you're seeing. That effectively, that's what Trump's statement was. It's a statement of, I don't actually care what happened, and I'm going to spin this in my unique Trumpian way to pretend like the guy who committed murder is innocent, and the one who is dead now is the perpetrator, is the criminal. And so, like you said, I don't know how to fix this, other than to do a fucking national divorce and get these people the fuck out of my country. And even that's not perfect, because when you do a national divorce, it's not like it becomes 100% left-wing on one side, 100% right-wing on the other side. Even then, it's like, what, a 60-40 proposition? 65-35 proposition?
Yeah,
something like that?
I don't know how that works.
Exactly. There is no neat answer. There is no clean answer. But, I mean, this is like an existential battle. You know what I'm saying? This is an existential battle for this country, and for reality, and for empathy, and all the basic fucking standard small d democratic values that we've been taught, liberal values that we've been taught, like be humble, be honest, be truthful, care about other people, you know, try to be fair and equitable and just, you know, like freedom is good, liberty is good, like these things. Like now there's an all-out assault on all of that, and we're led by, like, as Ro Khanna likes to say, the Epstein class. We're led by these like pedophile, rapist, war criminals who are only interested in greed and self-aggrandizement and careerism and power and money, and it's atrocious. It's fucking atrocious. And to your point, Crystal, you know, I said this the other day too, that I think Trump could nuke Greenland, right? Or pick any country you want that he's beefing with, Panama, whatever, anybody. And I think on Fox, it would take about 2 days. After those 2 days are up, by the third day, they would be defending it. Because that's what they did on January 6th. It was like a day or two where they were like, I don't know about this, it goes a little bit too far, yada, yada.
Yeah.
By the third day,
quickly,
right back on their talking points, defending it. And the reason I say that is this time it didn't even take 2 days for them to defend the illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, regime change against Maduro, even though he wasn't going to attack us. They weren't even bothering to make the argument he was going to attack us. And Trump's out there saying it's about the oil.
They all know now that the place that the right will always land is defending the indefensible. So now there's no delay between just like the event and doing it. They just all rush immediately to where they know the ball is going to end up, because it's always going to be the case that at the end of the day they find some way to justify the indefensible. So why not be the first to get there and get all the, you know, the Trumpian brownie points that you can off of that.
What the fuck was that? You heard that?
I did. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what that was, but it should have been in the road, whatever the fuck it was.
A bunch of people are
like
making a point. You got a, you know, terrible Nick Shirley tweet. This is a crazy idea. Follow the law and respect law enforcement. Nothing will happen to you.
Oh
and that Tom Bonnier or whatever, he says, from the people who brought you January 6th and Ashley Babbitt. And that's such a great point. Ashley Babbitt, who was breaking into the congressional chamber, they act like she's, you know, a martyr and oh, this was like an insane use of force, etc. And those same people now turn around and are like, oh, of course it was justified. Yeah, of course this was self-defense.
Now,
if you don't do exactly what the cop says when they tell you, then you deserve to be murdered.
My view of this thing is that in the eyes of the general public, I do think this goes too far, and I know you weren't totally in agreement with me on that, right?
No, I mean, I think a majority of people will disagree with it. Will find it abhorrent. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 60-40, maybe.
Well, I was going to say
65.
Right, 35.
Know?
That's I was going to, because that 35% are still supporting Trump now after everything he's fucking done.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I feel like that bodes for me. Not I don't want to make this about electoral politics, but I really do think it's evidence of there's going to be this just insane wave of backlash, you know, because I think a lot of people are feeling like I'm feeling, which is I got many criticisms of the Democrats. I got a lot of criticisms of the Democrats, but when you look at what these people are, I mean, they're like satanic, like literally. These people are satanic. They're satanic. They're satanic.
I mean, everything bad is good with them. You know?
Yeah, they've inverted reality completely. They've inverted morality.
Yes,
completely.
Exactly.
What's immoral is actually moral. You know?
Yeah. Yep. I see. Protests are expanding.
Are you talking about in Minnesota
or Minneapolis.
Or beyond? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in Minneapolis. I wonder if it's going to be like global, or not global, but like, you know, countrywide protests now as a result of that. You know, when Trump kidnapped Maduro and did regime change, pretty quickly there were people all out in front of the White House. You know, it was pretty fucking quickly. You know?
Yeah.
They're begging for an anti-ICE movement similar to what BLM looked like. You know? They're begging for that. And it's going to be a whole lot of fucking professors and accountants and lawyers and service sector workers and blue-collar people out there. Like, it's going to be a lot of normal people who would be out there in this scenario. Because these, you know, and by the way, like, a lot of people now have personal experience with this too. You know, all the cities that they've done this in. I always talk about it on my show, but these are the people who fucking tear gassed a baby and assaulted an 84-year-old couple and have already run over people with their cars. You know, like, this is 30 people have died in ICE custody already, and at least one of them was potentially lynched. So, you know, this is who we're talking about, and I think a lot of people are onto that now, and so.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens on camera in public when they know people are recording.
Right.
Just imagine if you're an immigrant in detention and there's no one to watch
and they lynched them.
And I mean, you can only imagine.
They give them dirty water. I mean, it's literally like CCOT type. You give them dirty water. You don't give them their medicine. People have died because they haven't gotten their medicine.
Yeah, and one of the highest death rates in immigration detention in history, and no no surprise, you know.
Yep, that's right.
Well, I gotta prep for my show, babe.
You got nothing else left? No
I
new?
don't see anything too new.
I was hoping that we would get the name of the
name
dude,
of the
but I
asshole.
guess-
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Some terrible, terrible updates for you, but yeah, we'll see, man. In a world that made sense, this guy would. It wouldn't happen in a world that made sense, but
I mean, he'd already be arrested.
Exactly.
You know, and the government would be acting like
An
they'd
actual
be doing
government.
the whole dance about like, oh, he's a bad apple. You know, like, oh, not all I say. That they'd be doing
Right.
that tap dance. That would be the
Exactly.
normal
Right.
approach. Is like, oh, well, there's one bad apple. Don't let them spoil the lot. Whatever. But no.
And they're not even giving us that anymore.
They're not even that. Nope. They just literally they will defend anything these dudes do. Anything.
Complete depraved sociopaths. So now you're going to have to hear lectures about how this woman who didn't break the law somehow was violating law and order, while meanwhile fucking Epstein's best friend who's on video committing sex crimes with underage girls, somehow he's the one who follows the law. So just hell, man. We live in hell.